What's up, everyone? We are back with APDL Season 10, Week number 1. I'm JK, the coach of your Goldenrod Radio Rockets. A little bit more light coming out of the darkness. Oh my gosh. All right, we are here. We are ready to play Garrett Sauce, coach of the Kalamazoo Raichu, in Week number 1. What a game. Holy cow, what a game. Lots to talk about. Super fun replay to walk you through. But first, the team builder. I'm not going to waste any time here. We're going to go back into our Week 1 team builder and walk you through the squad. Garrett's got a really, really scary team. Lots of threats like Mousehold that I had to deal with. So to be able to do that, we put together 6 Pokemon that I felt really, really gave us a chance. So first and foremost, we're starting on the special side. Our special wall, Archie the Tentacruel. Garrett had a couple of special threats that I did not want to deal with at all. Stuff like Lapras was definitely like a thorn on the side. I'm trying to think of like stuff that we prepped for. Claydol could be offensive, does not want to be left alone and overlooked. Garrett had a lot of physical threats, to be honest with you, in this week's team. So Tentacruel is our one dedicated special wall this week. Rocking a Salt Vest with that Liquid Ooze. So I dare you to Giga Drain me. Running Giga Drain, Scald, Sludge Bomb, and Rapid Spin. Archie is here to tank the special hits and make sure that we don't get hazards set up on our side and have a little bit of sustainability in those long drawn out fights. Be able to Giga Drain things to death and recover. Maybe we get Scald burns, things like that. Sludge Bomb for poisons. Who knows? Just a really good all-around Pokemon to bring this week. We maxed out the HP and special defense, and we made sure that we sped crept his 100 base speed Pokemon by adding that 4 points in speed. So that is Tentacruel. We are very excited to be bringing it to this week's match, and I think it's going to do a really, really good thing for us. In the kind of the special fights. Like I said, we played this game the other night. I don't quite remember what was in his full list of 10 Pokemon. I could look it up. I should look it up. But here we are. The main thing was that we needed to cover a lot of physical threats that Garrett had. And that comes in the form of 2 Pokemon this week. And if we jump back to the team builder, our first big physical wall to help us deal with things like Machamp and Tauros Paldea, Mousehold. The list goes on and on. Lighthouse the Ampharos is one of our physical walls this week, and it is chef's kiss. So good. Again, much like the Tentacruel, we maxed out HP, and it's given defense stat. We put a little bit of extra juice in that special attack. Ampharos is going to be rocking a Cotton Guard set this week with leftovers. So the plan is to jump my, to juice or amp my defense, if you will, with Cotton Guard, protect and get some passive leftovers recovery, maybe get some statics with its ability and paralyze some things and kind of help in the speed department, which is really important this week, just to kind of slow Garrett down. His team is so fast. So we definitely need some help, and the extra paralysis will definitely do so. And then for its attacking moves, Discharge, again, just electric type against Garrett's team is really good. Hits 4 things for super effective damage, and the paralyzed chance is always a good thing. And then Dazzling Gleam actually helps us 1v1 Tauros and Hitmonchan extremely well, especially after a Cotton Guard. And Ampharos could be a sneaky defensive wall this week, able to kind of help us out in those matchups. And I'm just really excited. I think it's a very cool Pokemon. The set is great. In testing it, overperformed. And I'm hoping that in this week 1 that it shines bright like a lighthouse. So covered 2 defensive Pokemon now. We need some offense. So jumping back to the team builder, who better than to give us some offense than our special attacker Nidoqueen? We did some speed creeping here with 208 and Timid Nature. Maxed out the special attack to give that Earth Power, Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, and Stealth Rock. Not that Stealth Rock needs an attack boost, but to give its 3 attacking moves, that Sheer Force, Life Orb boost to really hit hard, and we just dump the rest of the stats and HP just to help survivability a little bit. Stealth Rock is always just a great option to bring on Nidoqueen. If the coverage move, you don't need it. Earth Power, Thunderbolt, and Shadow Ball hit most of his team really, really hard. So I figured, why waste that 4th slot on a move I'm not going to click? And why not put in Stealth Rock for the chance to break sturdies, just cause some chip damage, which helps with a lot of his Pokemon just kind of over time, wearing them down and making sure that we can kill things. Offense on this team, it has to come in creative ways, so getting a little chip damage with Stealth Rock is never a bad thing. So that is the Nidoqueen, Queen Elizabeth, here to carry us to victory on the special attacking side. So we've kind of got our 2 bases covered on defense. We've got 1 special offensive player on the team this week. But what do we do after Nidoqueen? Well, why not throw Dandelion in there? I told you guys that this Jumpluff was going to be insane, and boy, oh boy, does it deliver. Jumpluff, Dandelion this week is our fast support Pokemon. We put all the EVs in the world into speed and HP, just made it as fast as possible, and hopefully can take a couple of hits if needed. But its real job is to use that Infiltrator ability to make sure that Garrett can't substitute on us. I'm not losing to that again. And to make sure that, we always have an option to switcheroo that Choice Scarf onto something that wants to try and set up. Maybe cripple some of his defensive mons into not being very effective. Strength Sap is a great move to weaken his physical threats like Tauros, Maushold, Hitmonchan. Sleep Powder. If we can hit Sleep Powder, game changer. It's a big if. So we've got U-turn just in case. If we need to get out, we've got U-turn and we can jump out of there, get to a better matchup. And this thing should be faster than everything barring a Scarf. It is a great option for us, and I think a really important part of our game plan is probably leading Jumpluff and going from there. Either switcherooing on turn 1 or U-turning out and getting a better matchup. Maybe Sleep Powder turn 1, depending on what he leads. But fast support, never can go wrong. I love these types of Pokemon, and Jumpluff is here to bring the puff. Okay, so 2 walls, 1 special, 1 physical, 1 special attacker, 1 fast support. I told you that Garrett had lots and lots of physical attackers this week, so what better way to round out the 5th Pokemon on the team than to just go at it again with physical defense and get Ice Shelf the Avalugg in play. This thing will never die to a physical attack. I promise you it will never die. HP and defense being at 400 and 500, I mean, come on. That attack stat, nothing to sneeze at either. We just want to make sure that we don't get in against anything on the special side. And like we said in the team builder, Avalugg is not going to be a sprinter. This is a distance race Pokemon if I ever saw one. But a couple of really important things here. Body Press does insane damage because our defense stat is so high. Icicle Crash, Ice-type moves actually do a really good number on Garrett's team. And it's just my best stab move. Recover to help us kind of in those long sustained fights. And then Toxic to wear stuff down if we need it. The real clutch play or the big team building decision this week was what item to put on Avalugg and what to do with my hazard removal. Originally, I had Rapid Spin on the Avalugg, and I had like Knockoff on the Tentacruel. But we kind of looked at Garrett's team a little bit and saw, hey, Mousehold is not cool. Population Bomb is a dumb move. And I want to make sure that if for some ungodly reason that thing is able to set up and start attacking me, I just want it to die. And Rocky Helmet lets us live the hit and kill the Mousehold. No problem, especially if we click an attacking move. And really just is like a good way to punish that Pokemon. It's also really good against a lot of his other Pokemon. Just that extra chip along with the Stealth Rock and the Rocky Helmet, defensive recover and toxic. If you're a physical Pokemon, Avalugg has your number. Bring it on. And I'm really excited about it. Sturdy also lets us, live a close combat or something were it to come our way from a buffed up Bouffalant, or in this case a Tauros. Just a really, really solid Pokemon. I love Avalugg. This thing is one of my favorites on the team, and it is defensive in nature, but man, oh man, this thing can also dish out the pain. And that's the Avalugg. So, 5 out of 6 Pokemon, their roles all really well defined. My team does not have a lot of offense, and we needed some way to get across the finish line. I feel really good about weathering the storm, countering Garrett's threats, but I need something that's going to be able to win the game for us, right? I can't just keep switching and recovering and doing that jazz all game and expect to win. So I have to have something besides Nidoqueen that's more offensive minded. So the answer that we came up with was Jaws the Dudunsparce, our setup sweeper for this week. We went max HP and attack, Choppleberry to live a hit from his many fighting types, Serene Grace for some body slam paralysis, and we're going to run the coil set. It is going to coil and roost its way to +2, maybe +3 if we get lucky, and then we're going to Zen Headbutt and body slam things to death and just hope to God it works. In testing, we never quite got the coil set to really do more than just one setup and hit something with a body slam. Now, that being said, paralysis helps the speed game immensely. We've got a really good shot at doing that with the Serene Grace ability. And it's got, the 2 attacking moves, body slam and Zen Headbutt. They hit his entire team for at least some damage. Not a lot of super effectiveness there, but body slam being stab and just a really good move. Zen Headbutt for the fighting types. That's what we're going to rock with, and it should be able to at least take one hit, be able to roost after the coil, and kind of go to town. So the goal is to chip things down and then let Jaws come in at the end, coil, roost, and then start slamming things to death. And that is the team for this week, right? So to recap, we have Tentacruel, our special wall, our physical walls in Avalugg and Ampharos, our fast support Jumpluff, and our special attacking Nidoqueen, and our setup Dudunsparce. This is the squad the Goldenrod Radio Rockets are bringing to week 1 against the Kalamazoo Raichu. And let's get into the game. So, like we said, Garrett, a lot of scary things, right? A lot of things I do not want to see on his team. Stuff that we're going to have to deal with. As a recap, Tentacruel, Ampharos, Nidoqueen, Jumpluff, Avalugg, Dudunsparce. Garrett decided to bring a Claydol, a Togedemaru, Hitmonchan, Mousehold, Lapras, and Dodrio. So right off the bat, I think, number one, I think we're actually set up fairly well for this game. I am hoping that we're able to stick to our game plan. Rocks actually help with the Dodrio and the Lapras. They break sturdy on the Togedemaru and are just annoying for Mousehold to switch in and out of. It can tidy up, which is unfortunate, but we've got Avalugg and Ampharos in the back ready to handle anything that it wants to try and do. So I think we stick to the game plan, lead Jumpluff, and go from there. So the good lucks are exchange, and he leads Claydol. Now, if 10 seasons of APDL have taught me one thing, this is a Stealth Rock Claydol if I've ever seen one. Which probably means that it's a prime candidate on his team to swap in a Choice Scarf and make it kind of useless. Whether it goes for Stealth Rock or some kind of attacking move. I'm not super threatened. It's, it's not something that I expect to be really offensive. I think it's kind of a scout Pokemon probably for Garrett, much like Dandelion is for us. So I rip the switcheroo immediately, and Garrett goes for Sandstorm. Important to note that Jumpluff picks up the Smooth Rock, so we get his Sandstorm brought down to 5 turns instead of 8, which he was hoping for. And we cripple what I'm guessing is a support Claydol, which is great. This is an awesome first turn for us, and I want to ride this momentum moving forward. I think it's a great chance that he probably switches out because he can only click Sandstorm, and what's the use there? So we're going to go for Sleep Powder on turn 2 and try and catch something switching in and just kind of keep this momentum going. And lo and behold, we hit the Sleep Powder on the best possible target on his entire team. Mousehold cannot do anything, at least for one turn. At least for one turn. Because we don't believe in one-turn wake-ups in this game. Right? We don't believe in one-turn wake-ups. So I am sitting so well here. We got the Claydol crippled. The Mousehold is asleep. And now I get to U-turn on probably a Garrett switch. Because I don't think he wants to keep Mousehold in as it's asleep, taking a bunch of damage. He goes Dodrio, and we're able to swap out into Nidoqueen. First 3 turns, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Could not ask for a better scenario moving into this game against a 4-time APDL champion. Now I have to make a decision. The smart play, the straightforward play, is to rip Thunderbolt and not think 2 seconds about it, right? There's no way Garrett stays in. He's got a Lightning Rod Togedemaru that probably eats up the Thunderbolt, no problem. We could also Stealth Rock in this scenario, or we could go for the big-time Earth Power to read the switch. He's also got a Claydol, which has Levitate, which could eat up the Earth Power. So, tough to say what my move should be. There's not really a safe attacking move. So I think that this is a great chance to go for just the most straightforward play. If he tries to get a big hit off, I'm confident Nidoqueen can live anything. So I'm just going to go for Thunderbolt, even though this Claydol switch is predictable. So that's a great play from Garrett. He's able to do this, and I don't want to take a Psychic whatsoever from this thing. I am not built to last as far as Nidoqueen is concerned, and I need to preserve my offense in this matchup. Looking at the calcs, a Psychic, even from a offensive Claydol, does laughable damage to Tentacruel, but he actually makes a great play and goes Teleport into Togedemaru. On my swap. So it is a interesting development here. And now I am not happy with this little electric mouse. Full honesty here. Garrett had me tilted from turn 6 until the end of the game. And here's why. I just noticed you can't see my HP bar here. Let me fix that for you. This is a level 1 Endeavor Togedemaru in an APDL game. And when I tell you I was mad, I was furious. Immediately sent to Tiltland Central. I thought Garrett is not going to beat me with this freaking cheese mouse here. And I was very upset. And my entire demeanor changed the second that Endeavor play goes off. So now I'm like, well, shoot. I have to find a way to break through a sturdy Endeavor. And I immediately check to make sure that this thing doesn't have like quick attack or some dumb thing like that where it could potentially get a priority kill on me. Thankfully, we later find out that this Togedemaru has Endeavor, Nuzzle, and Spiky Shield. I forget what its fourth move is. However, it takes so much effort to play around the gimmickiest play I think I've ever seen Garrett run. And I'm putting him on blast a little bit here, and it's all in good fun. It was all GG's at the end of this game. But man, this set is so garbage. Like, come on. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, I vented to the APDL. It is fully within the rules. Garrett can absolutely do this. I warn the other 14 teams in the league, please be prepared for this. Do not lose to this cheese. Please. Back to our game. I have to respond. Luckily, he swaps out on the Earth Power. That does some decent damage to Little Mac here. At this point, I am just kind of like, well, Nidoqueen's done for. I can't take a single hit from anything. I might as well get Rocks up as a last-ditch effort. It's going to die right here. Rocks help break sturdy, helps with Dodrio. It's just kind of a good play overall. Garrett makes a fantastic read and goes for Rapid Spin, gets the kill, gets the speed boost. And now I have to deal with a +1 speed Hitmonchan that is sitting in front of me ready to rock and roll. However, we have the goat or sheep or something in Ampharos. And we trained for this. Earthquake does 44% at neutral defense. I get a Cotton Guard off and I'm able to just sit back, collect myself a little bit, click Dazzling Gleam. We get a lucky crit. Yeah, whether or not that's a game changer, I don't really think in the end it made that big of a difference. He's Earthquaking for 20 damage. We easily are able to kind of mop things up. And then we're up, or we're back to 5-on-5, right? It is back to tied. I've got a defensive Ampharos that has pretty well done its job. I'm just going to go for Discharge and try and make sure that this Shelly doesn't try and set up or do anything weird. I'm just going to go for it. However, our special defense is not enough to live that Freeze Dry, and Lighthouse goes down. But lets us bring in Tentacruel. I kind of figured that this Lapras, it was either going to be extremely defensive, but had enough investment to be able to have Freeze Dry do some damage to Tentacruel, or if it was offensive, I still, with my Assault Vest, have a pretty decent matchup, and this is my special wall. Either Tentacruel can beat it, or I can't. I go for Sludge Bomb. It's a 30% chance to poison. I figured that was like my best play. I didn't want to try and water absorb it if it had that or some kind of burn. Go for the Scald Burn. It's kind of a better play, but it's not because of water absorb, things like that. So we go for Sludge Bomb, right? It's essentially the same play. However, we do get the poison, which is great. Freeze Dry does 36%. We're living. And now we can Giga Drain off and get some health back and start to 1v1 this Lapras. He does switch into Claydol, which is fine, and goes for Sandstorm. Now, Sandstorm, paired with that Endeavor bullshit, is a great cheesy way to wear down my stuff and have Sandstorm tick away the last bits of HP. It's a brilliant strategy, although it's memey and cheesy and terrible as a team in kind of my opinion. Again, Garrett, it's all in good fun, buddy. It was very challenging to have to work around this strategy, and it props to you for thinking of it. However, we are able to take this Claydol to town with a Scald. Not afraid of it whatsoever. I'm just going to keep going for damaging moves because it can only use Sandstorm, thanks to that Jumpluff. He brings in Mousehold, which takes the Giga Drain pretty well, and we're both taking Sandstorm damage. I see Mousehold, I go Avalugg every single time, regardless of what's going on, which is a good switch in. We both take a little bit of chip. Unfortunate thing that I didn't think of until, later is that Avalug's Sturdy is now broken, and I have to recover to be able to get it back. However, Mousehold's down to 60% and it's asleep, so in the grand scheme of things, that's an okay trade. Mousehold wakes up, gets U-turn into me, takes some Rocky Helmet damage, and he goes into Lapras. I go for Body Press, which was the best move across the board. For just damage in general. Honestly, Body Press and Icicle Crash are both doing decent damage to everything, the Lapras being the exception. Lapras is the one thing that I cannot take a hit from. So I just, hey, if it's switching in, Body Press does a lot. If anything else switches in, Body Press does a lot. So we get a good swap kill here. Lapras goes down. Sandstorm is raging. Togedemaru comes in, and I cannot, while Mousehold is alive, let Avalugg go down, especially to Endeavor and some of the other things. So I need to get out. And now comes a few turns, and I'll just let this play, of me trying to find a way to cripple this Togedemaru. It's got Spiky Shield. I'm trying to get some HP back with Strength Sap, which gets me basically nothing because it's got no attack stat whatsoever. I get Nuzzled. I'm trying to switcheroo to cripple it into only using one move. And the Claydol eventually switches out, and I'm just here going into my Tentacruel. Again, I'm trying to keep Jumpluff alive to try and deal with that Togedemaru. Even though I'm paralyzed, I'm still faster because it's level 1. And I gotta try, right? I gotta keep my options alive. And Tentacruel is a great wall against this Claydol. I am taking damage over time, which stinks. But we are able to go in and get the kill with Scald on the Claydol. And now it is 4-3, and still very, very up in the air. The Togedemaru is a problem that I have to have either Tentacruel or something that can't make contact with its Spiky Shield. I need some non-physically touching moves, and Tentacruel is one of those options. So I need this around, and Mousehold and Dodrio are a problem for another Pokemon. I go for Scald on the Togedemaru, trying to get the burn, trying to help break Sturdy and figure those things out. And we find out that this stupid thing has a Shell Bell to get it back to full HP and Sturdy intact. I hate it, but it's so effective. I'm not going to call it good because it's memey and terrible and I hate it, but it's so effective. So Archie's going to go down to the Sandstorm damage here, and then we're going to go into Dandelion and we're going to try. We get paralyzed, and that also goes down to the Sandstorm. And now we have Dudunsparce and Avalugg against Togedemaru, Mousehold, and Dodrio. And I'm going to do my darndest to get this Mousehold dead. Man, this was so tough. I was trying to play around maybe him switching. Both my Pokemon can recover with Roost and Recover, which is nice. He's got Encore for his 4th move. And we get a lucky break here. I think Garrett realized that he needed to cripple the Dudunsparce, or it was just going to stall it out of endeavors with just roosting in front of him. So the PP stall was where I was going with things, and he needed to figure out a way to take that out or gain an advantage somehow. I figured that we might try the same strategy with Avalugg, who has that rocky helmet. To help break sturdy on his contact move, I can recover. He has nothing that can kill me, right? He's got Encore, big deal. Spiky Shield, which I don't have to hit it. I can just wait. Or click Icicle Crash, which doesn't do contact. I don't have to click Body Press. Icicle Crash, actually, right here, great move against all 3 Pokemon he's got left. Toxic doesn't do anything to a Steel type, so I'm not going to click that move. But I can sit in front of this thing and recover constantly until he's out of endeavors, and we can move on from there. But I need to make sure that Avalugg is strong enough to take on Dodrio and Mousehold at the end. Dudunsparce, if I can get a coil off, also is part of that factor. The Chople Berry is still intact, so I can take a jump kick. But we're not out of the woods yet. We do get that great little chip damage. And now I can just go for Icicle Crash, because even if he goes for an Endeavor, I'm faster because I'm actually not level 1, and he is. So his speed stat's like 4 or 5 or whatever. Mine, even with being paralyzed, is 54 at its worst before the paralyzed. So I'm at like 27 or something like that. So I'm still going to be faster. And I just go for Icicle Crash. He switches into Mousehold, which dies, which is great. The Togedemaru comes in. I Ice Crash. He's dead. Dodrio comes in. And now we're up 2-1. And we eat this jump kick so well. Avalugg is so underrated, you guys. Holy crap. We take the jump kick really, really well, and then Icicle Crash is going to send Hergder into the grave, and we're going to get a 2-0 victory after pulling our hair out for a half an hour. 37 turns of pain is what this game was. Again, Garrett, all in good fun. But I was tilted from turn 6 until turn 37. And after the game, I was definitely like not in a GG's mode. But we did talk afterwards and had some good back and forth. And, you know, hats off to Garrett for bringing a strategy that could have easily just wrecked me. So, again, for the rest of the 14 teams in the APDL, be ready for this, okay? Because it might be back. Okay, so after the game, we get into the steel portion of things, right? So we're going to jump back over to our handy-dandy spot over here. And Garrett actually he chose Dudunsparce to steal from Goldenrod City and send over to the Kalamazoo Raichu. I protected Nidoqueen because it was the best thing on my team as far as offense is concerned. So I protected Nidoqueen, and Tentacruel is my partner Pokemon, cannot be stolen. So Dudunsparce, Avalugg, Ampharos, and Jumpluff were all on the table. And Garrett chose the Dudunsparce to steal from me and gave me Cramorant off of his team. So, you know, let's just take a look real quick at Cramorant. Cramorant is an interesting little bird. Its move pool is not great. Its stats are very mediocre. But there might be something, you know, at some point that we can do with this thing. Rain support. It's got Hurricane. We can do Rain Dance. It's got, you know, some good water type moves. decent stats in the right circumstances. Again, this is a tier with a lot of lower tiered or lower statted mons. So, with the right item, the right support built around it, maybe it can do something. But I think Cramorant really lines up with like the Rotoms of my team as like a decent option that's probably going to ride the bench for most of the season or be trade fodder if I ever lose. So who knows? We might have found a hidden gem in Cramorant. But this is what we've got for our week 1 steal. And that's really the game, guys. Thanks for joining me on this journey. 35 minutes of reliving a painful half-hour-long game. But again, GG's to Garrett, all in good fun. I'm going to joke and jab at him and give him shit. But it was an effective strategy, and I'm glad we were able to play around it and get the dub. So going into week 2, we are 1-0 with +2 differential. And we will be back and ready for more action very, very soon. Thanks, y'all. Thanks for watching. And we will be back with week 2's team builder in game against the Edmonton Ice Cues.